Hello, grade 9s. I'm just going to take you through the recent exam paper you wrote and give you kind of an explanation for the answers and also a guideline of where the marks went. So we're going to do question 1 in this video, and the first thing we're going to do is list the factors of 30. And so the best way to do that is to do that in pairs. So like, for example, you could do 1 and 30 and 2 and 15 and so on. And so I'm just going to show you the numbers that you should have got. So let's have a quick look here. So you should have got 30 and 1, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, and 5 and 6. So that is just listing the factors, the numbers that all divide exactly into 30. Then write down the first 3 multiples of 21. So that's going to be 21, and if you add 21 to that, you get 42. And then you get 63. So multiples are just basically timesing by. It's like 1 times 21 is the first multiple, 2 times 21 is 42, and so on. So there we've done 1.1 and 1.2. Now 1.3, prime factorize 56 using the tree or ladder method. Now on the memo here we have the tree method, but you could also use the ladder method. And 56 can be split into 2 times 28, and then 2 is prime, so we leave that, and then 28 could be split into 2 times 14, and then we can split the 14 into 2 times 7, and then that leaves us with 2 times 2 times 2 times 7 as our answer, or 2 to the power of 3 times 7 for our answer. If we were doing it using the ladder method, it would probably look something like this. So we would have 56 divided by 2, which is 28, divided by 2, which is 14, divided by 2, which is 7, and then we divide 7 by 7. And so then 56 should be equal to 2 times 2 times 2 times 7, which is the same thing as we got over here. Okay, so that's the prime factorization. Determine the highest common factor of 12 and 66. Now, the best way to do this part, I think, is just going to be to write down the factorizations of 12 and 66. Now, we've got the answer here already, but let me just show you some working here. So what I would do is I would say, okay, well, let me think about what the factors of 12 are and what the factors of 66 are. So let's start with, we're dividing 12 by 2, we get 6. Divide that by 2, we get 3. Okay, and so we see that 12 is just 2 times 2 times 3. And we could do a similar thing for 66. And 66 is going to be equal to 2 times 3 times 11. So the highest common factor, what's in common to both of these? Well, there's definitely a 2 in common to both. And there's also going to be a 3 in common to both. And so then my highest common factor is going to be 2 times 3 or 6. And so that would be our highest common factor. Okay. And then for the last question in question 1, this was actually a lowest common multiple question disguised kind of in a story. And so it says, Caitlin recently had an operation, needs to take some medication, and it's 1 pill every 3 hours. So we're looking at multiples of 3. And then another one every 7 hours, so that's going to be multiples of 7. And a third one every 2 hours, so that's going to be multiples of 2. And so there's 2 ways you could do this. The one is to write out all the multiples of 3, like 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and you keep going. You could go then also for the 7, you could go 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, and so on. And for multiples of 2, you would go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And you'd keep doing this until you find a number that they all kind of go into. So that's the sort of long way. The shorter way is to actually just take these factors and just multiply them together. So you know that basically you need to have all these numbers, so you can just go to get the LCM here, you could just go 2 times 3 times 7, and so then that will give you an answer of 42. And so that is the method we would use there. All right, so that is question 1, video memo done.